So ladies, I have another devotion for you today, and I titled this one Tithing, and it's taken primarily from 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7. And this is Paul. He says, "Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." Now, I recognize that what I'm going to say will probably be very controversial, and you're welcome to disagree with it. But you know what? I think I'm in the right here. I'm just gonna say it. You know, years ago, I was a youth director at a church in Magnolia, Arkansas, and I was a crummy youth director. But it came the time of year when the church was, I guess, putting together their budget. And so the elders wanted me to preach a sermon that would more or less sock it to the congregation on how important it was to give. And the bottom line is that they picked the wrong guy to preach the sermon, because I tried to give them what I considered at that time, and still believe today, to be a biblical or a Bible-based presentation on what giving is really all about. And I know that there are obviously the verses in the Old Testament where we are told that the bare minimum for giving is 10%. And so Christians, even in this day and age, try and abide by that. You know, if they're going to give, it's 10% or more, but nothing less than that. But you know what? I think that when Christ died on the cross and he bowed his head and said, "It is finished," and the curtain was torn, not only did he deregulate the fact that works are not required for us to get into heaven because he is the work, right? Or, sacrifices because he is the sacrifice. But I think he also did away with tithing in the traditional sense, because Christ not only is the work, not only is the sacrifice, not only is the Sabbath and the feast in and of himself, but he is the tithe. So my point to both of you today is, if you want to truly tithe, know Jesus Christ. And I think it is as simple as that. And that's why Paul can say what he says right here in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7, that each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give. See, Paul doesn't say, well, a minimum of 10%, because Christ did away with all that, because he is the tithe. He says, if you're going to give, do it not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. So the point I make is, if God's calling you just to tithe 1%, do so, but do it in a joyful fashion, because it's what you want to do. If he's calling you to tithe 10% or 20% or 90%, do it because it's what God has called you to do, and do it in a joyful way. If you're going to tithe 90% of your income, but you do it because you think that you're going to earn God's favor, or that you're going to earn the favor of people around you, then I believe that God, as far as what Paul is saying here, would have you rather not give at all. No need to live with one foot in works and the other in grace. Christ set us free from all that nonsense. God bless you both.